The lecture hall of the Galactic Academy was enormous, its arched ceiling shimmering with a lattice of stars. Professors of 100 different species hovered, slithered, or perched at their respective stations. They had gathered for what was supposed to be a mundane event, the introductory assessment of a new species representative, humanity. It was routine. Every new species entering the Concord was tested on basic knowledge, mathematics, physics, and logic, a measure of their place in the hierarchy of intellect. Rarely did the tests surprise the professors. They were the oldest minds of the galaxy, custodians of millennia of knowledge. At the center of the hall stood the human candidate, Dr. Marcus Hale. He was tall but not imposing, wearing a simple gray suit, his only adornment a silver pin clipped to his shirt. He looked more like a substitute teacher than an ambassador of knowledge. His calm eyes scanned the room, betraying neither arrogance nor fear. Chancellor Yeldar, a scale being with 6 glistening eyes, began the trial with a voice like grinding stone. Human, we begin with a routine inquiry. Nothing complex. Simply define the relationship between energy and matter in quantifiable terms. The question was deliberately simple, meant to confirm basic competency. For centuries, no species had failed it. The professors expected the same rehearsed answer: energy equals mass times the square velocity of light, or some variant appropriate to their physics. Dr. Hale tilted his head slightly, as though surprised by the question's simplicity. Then he spoke, not with hesitation, but with measured clarity. Energy and matter are not merely equivalent. They are manifestations of the same underlying field. What you call mass-energy equivalence is only a surface expression. The deeper relationship lies in space-time curvature and quantum fields interacting. Mass tells spacetime how to curve. Curvature tells mass energy how to move. What you asked for is not just an equation, but a principle that binds your entire observable reality. The hall fell silent. Alien professors stared, unmoving. The simple question had never been answered like this. Candidates were supposed to recite formulae, not dismantle the very structure of reality, and rebuild it with deeper truth. Professor Jalor, a floating sphere of tendrils, stammered. Why you speak, as if you have unified mechanics of gravitation and quantized fields. Yet we have debated such impossibilities for 10,000 cycles. Hale only smiled faintly. On Earth, we call it general relativity and quantum field theory. Imperfect, yes, but already tested. Our species pursued these questions not because they were easy, but because they humbled us. We sought answers in the stars long before we ever reached them. Another professor, scaled and winged, hissed, But the mathematics of such frameworks are crushing. No civilization solves them without collective thought. Engines. Did humanity truly derive these alone? Hale shrugged lightly. Not alone. We argue, we stumble, we fail, and we learn from those failures. That is our method. Some of our greatest insights came not from clarity, but from mistakes reframed. We had no psionic archives, no memory gene inheritance. Only the stubbornness to keep asking questions. The Chancellor's 6 eyes narrowed. He shifted uncomfortably, a first in living memory. You mean to tell us, your people casually carry truths we still fear to articulate? Dr. Hale looked around at the sea of alien faces. His voice softened, yet carried to every corner of the hall. You call this a routine question. For us, it was the gateway to an age of wonder and terror. We learned that stars are furnaces, that matter can be annihilated into pure light, that the universe itself bends under the weight of existence. We did not learn it for prestige. We learned it because ignorance was more dangerous than truth. A suffocating silence pressed down on the professors. For beings who prided themselves on superior intellect, this was unthinkable. A fledgling species, answering a trivial question with a truth that rattled the very foundations of knowledge. Some couldn't breathe, literally. A few aquatic scholars gasped in their tanks, their gills spasming. Others froze in postures of disbelief, their minds racing, unable to reconcile the human's words with their own centuries of debate. Finally, Chancellor Yeldar forced his voice to steady. "We intended to measure your place among us, human. Instead, you have measured us." Hale inclined his head respectfully. "We are not here to dethrone anyone. We are here to learn, and to remind you that even the routine can hold revelations if you dare look deeper." The hall erupted, not in applause, but in stunned murmurs, broken whispers, uneasy awe. The professors of the Galactic Academy, paragons of knowledge, had been humbled by a human answering what was meant to be a child's question. And the galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity was not just clever, not just curious. They were relentless seekers of truth. Routine questions would never be routine again.